11, it was the first shooting I had been aware of. I remember my swim team coach, a strong and stoic Army veteran, was brought to tears as he assured us that school was still a safe place. 2 months later, on a Wednesday evening, I laughed goodbye to my good friend Stefan as we left swim practice. The next day, my mother told me that he, his sister, and his mother were shot by his father in their own home, driven to madness by his depression. He took his own life soon after critically injuring his wife and daughter and killing his only son. This was the first time I had ever processed death. I wrote a letter to President Obama that week, and I remember how angry I was. I remember imagining what Stefan would have been doing at that moment if he was still alive, if there had not been a gun in the house. I heard that his mother tried to hide it. I remember standing at a candlelight vigil just a month ago. I remember holding my mother as she shook with the echoes of the names of those killed in the Parkland shooting. I remember crying, but not in sadness, in frustration, in anger. I remember how the tears seemed to seethe, heat, and outrage. I remember how my eyes stung with every blink. I remember sitting silently in art, huddled in the dark with the rest of the class as we ran through a code red drill. I remember being so angry. I remember hearing a sheriff on the news saying that one thing that needed to be done to prevent this kind of tragedy was to build safer schools that are harder to penetrate. I remember wondering how it could be possible that a country's leaders could care so little for their people's safety. How has this country become a place where humans fear each other so deeply, where the regard for human life is so repulsively low, where students not only fear people with guns, but those in power who are supposed to be protecting them? I am afraid. How has this country become a place where I fear my life is in danger because my state's congressmen and representatives and my country's president don't care? I refuse to believe that this government can do nothing. I refuse to believe that this kind of thing just happens. I refuse to believe that this is a time to grieve, a time for thoughts and prayers. I refuse to forget. This is a time to be angry. If you are not angry, you are not paying attention. If you are a person in power and you are not advocating for gun reform now, you are the problem. I do not fully blame the shooters who should not have been allowed access to weapons. I blame you in power for making this country a place where life means nothing, where a person clearly unstable and a danger to himself and others is given access to a semi-automatic weapon, a place where 18 mass shootings can happen in a month and a half, and you will say nothing. If you are not doing something, you are the problem. If you believe that life should not be lived in constant terror, if you believe in safety and education, if you believe people's lives deserve to be protected and you are not saying something, and you are not reaching out, and you are not writing to your governors, you are not calling your congressmen, you are part of the problem. Justify how it is possible for a 13-year-old to be denied alcohol, cigarettes, and racing magazines, but the same 13-year-old can walk into a gun show and walk out with a rifle in less than 5 minutes. Justify how I can't go to the mall, go to the movies, or go to school without telling my parents I love them, without hugging my sisters, without fearing this may be the day I lose my life to a gun. Explain how he could have hurt that many people with a knife. Justify how it is possible that our governing body is composed of inhumane, deplorable people who do not value life, children, or education. Our country has become a place where life is nothing compared to money, and money is everything when it comes to driving fear. More mass shootings in the U.S., buy bigger, better guns to protect yourself with. More guns, they say, give teachers guns. They propagate fear and use it as a tool to garner more money and more power. People are dead. Children are dead. When will you care? We need to be loud. We need to register to vote. We need to educate those around us on the facts. We need to eliminate ignorance. We need to have opinions, and we need to voice them. We need to write to Rick Scott and Marco Rubio. We need to demand they stop taking money from the NRA. We need to ask them, when is enough enough? When will my family feel at ease? How many lives must be lost until you do something? Am I next? We need to have rallies, and we need to have marches. We need to kick and scratch until reform is made. We will be resilient. We will not give in until not one more student, not one more teacher, not one more movie or mall goer or Vegas vacationer is lost to senseless gun violence. Please call your representatives, write letters and emails, register to vote if you can, have discussions with friends, with teachers, with parents. Make it clear that you will not let this slide. That you will not rest until there is gun reform in this country and until the United States is a safe place.